Hello and welcome to the Out All Day movie roundup for the week of June 26th, 2024. First up is The Bikeriders, directed by Jeff Nichols and a movie based on true events. In the early 1960s, photographer Danny Lyon rode out with a rebellious motorbike gang called the Outlaws, documenting them via photography and audio recordings. Nichols has created a dramatisation of their lives based on interviews with Kathy Bauer, played by Judy Comer, who's the wife of gang member Benny Bauer, played here by Austin Butler. Kathy was an outsider before she fell for Benny, and despite her better judgment, her love for Benny means that she's gradually pulled further and further into the gang's lifestyle. Gang leader Johnny, played by Tom Hardy, is looking to groom Benny to eventually take over his position, causing mounting tensions between the three of them. This, along with various outside challenges to the gang's power structure, provides a bare-bones plot, which is embellished with the Vandals' escapades, encounters with other gangs, and run-ins with the various townsfolk. The Vandals are a merry band that attracts rebels and ne'er-do-wells, and their ranks include a delightfully unhinged Michael Shannon and also Norman Reedus. Side note, it's actually compulsory to cast Norman Reedus if a movie features motorcycle. Johnny and Kathy tug at Benny's loyalties, and as the gang grows and new elements create ever more violent situations, the time comes for Benny to commit to the outlaw life or duck out and enjoy the relative safety of domesticity. The three leads have charisma in spades, and the antics of the gang are alternately hilarious and shocking. As the gang grows, their identity spins out of control, and there are many casualties along the way. Judy Comer has the standout performance here as Kathy, and it's a fascinating and often thrilling slice of life, deep in the underbelly of 1960s counterculture. Next up is Hitman. Richard Linklater's latest movie is based on a strange true story. Co-written with its star and longtime collaborator Glenn Powell, Hitman relates some of the real-life experiences of one Gary Johnson. Johnson, who died in 2022, was a philosophy professor in Houston, Texas. He lived a fairly ordinary life except for the fact that his love of electronics made him a surveillance whiz, and he ended up assisting the local police with select sting operations. The movie transfers Johnson to the University of New Orleans, his colleagues, played by another longtime Linklater favourite, Austin Emilio, the comedian Retta, and Sanjay Rao, being undercover cops working for the NOPD. Events conspire to take Johnson beyond the surveillance van and into the field, where he takes on the persona of a fake hitman, so that would-be hits are nipped in the bud. In real life, Johnson became so good at this, wearing costumes and faking accents, that his success rate was off the charts. The success also fuels the fictionalized plot here, as Movie Johnson meets an attractive wife, Madison Masters, played by Adria Arjona, who wants her abusive husband taken care of. Johnson dissuades her, falls in love with her, and hilarity ensues. Well, not really hilarity, more like confusion and layers of deception that make the situation more and more complicated by the day. Bodies start to appear, and holes start to form in everyone's alibis. Emilio's dirty cop starts to exert leverage that makes Johnson and Masters' lives spiral out of control. It's an almost Coen Brothers type romp, with coincidences, near misses, and lashings of deft manipulation. One of the most enjoyable elements for us New Orleanians is that it is shot across the city, with scenes in the Always Lounge, St. Roch Tavern, a couple of uptown restaurants, and lots of street scenes. I also spotted more than a couple of local actors with lines, not least Casey Sims and Tony Frederick, doing our town proud. It's a fabulous, exaggerated telling of Johnson's life, and although the stakes feel real, the comedic thrusts of the establishing scenes keep this a fairly light ride. Powell is a charismatic and compelling protagonist, and there's plenty of chemistry on screen. Johnson's backup cops put in entertaining performances, especially Austin Emilio, who brings a chaos and edge to the proceedings. It's not a huge action movie, but there's enough drama to keep you watching, and the colourful shots of New Orleans neighbourhoods are a real bonus. It's a solid thriller with plenty of romance and comedy, aided by the fact that there is some truth to it. Our final film this week is I Saw the TV Glow. As a plumb-in-the-middle Gen Xer, the nostalgia-heavy tours of the 1980s that have been so popular in media since the first season of Stranger Things scratch a lot of itches. Fuzzy synth soundtracks, flickering neon, and unironic pastel leisureware take me back to those heady pre-internet days, when VHS tapes were cutting edge and computer games took 12 minutes to load via unreliable cassette tapes. Writer-director Jane Schoenbrun's new film dives headlong into this era, channeling the Duffer Brothers' school horror aesthetics without fully committing to being a horror movie. This is more a movie about identity, trauma, friendship, and, well, vibes. Nerdy weirdos, Owen, played by Ian Foreman and Justice Smith, and Maddie, played by Bridget Lundy Payne, bond over a young adult TV show called The Pink Opaque. The show's protagonists, Isabel, Helena Howard, and Tara, Lindsay Jordan, telepathically battle demonic forces in the suburbs in a kind of Monster of the Week type format. A fandom becomes obsession, and Owen and Maddie project their fears and frustrations onto the show, which is suddenly cancelled. Seismic events follow, though I feel like describing what happens won't really help the review or your experience of the movie. It's best to go in cold, and suffice to say that real-life, TV-inspired fantasies and dramatic visualizations of escaping society's pressures all merge into a story in which the director doesn't spoon-feed you the details. Owen and Maddie keep returning to the Pink Opaque in different ways, some more literal than others. And as their lives take them in jarringly different directions, there are hints of David Lynch, Charlie Kaufman, and slick 80s and 19 teen dramas, especially the clips of the TV show, of which I wish they'd shown more. I love the production design and the soundtrack, and though I'm not hidebound by needing resolution in the story, I feel like giving the audience just a little bit more to hang their hats on wouldn't have lessened the message. The tableaus of self-hatred and the visceral frustrations of trying to become yourself are well handled though, and as an analysis of marginalisation and the friendships born thereof, it's an engaging and endlessly atmospheric journey. That's it for the movie roundup. We will be back next week with more video content. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates, and any likes or comments will also help us with the algorithm. For the full reviews and even more content, please go to our website, www.outallDayNola.com. All the links are in the description. Have a fun week, and we'll see you next time.